Hello, Star Wars Galaxy of Hero players. This is Andy Teshorno. Today I'm going to be covering the top 10 tanks of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And to start off, when I'm referring to tanks, I'm referring to the ones that want to taunt and take the damage from other characters. You know, stand out, say, hey, I'm right here, come get me. Cowards, come get me, you know. So, certain ones definitely did not make the list. Obviously, Amla and Haldo didn't. But there are a lot of good tanks. A lot. And yes, unfortunately, First Order Stormtrooper is not on here. There's quite a few that aren't, that are good taunters, but they're better for lower end tier factions or teams, or they're only best in certain teams, and there's some exceptions too. But I have two runner-ups for this list. The first runner-up is Night Sister Zombie. She's seen a lot in a lot of Night Sister teams. She always is the tank there, and she is really unique in the fact that with Night Sisters and how Night Sister Zombie dies and comes back, and that revive cannot be prevented. See if I can highlight that right there. Oh, whoops. Oh, it doesn't allow me to. Okay. It cannot be prevented. Period. I just can't highlight here. Yeah. But that's a really good thing for a Night Sister Zombie. A lot of people like to build her, because a lot of times you want to build a tank as buff, as tough as you can take as many hits as you can and not fall down. Night Sister Zombie is the only tank that is the opposite of all the others. Just because of the fact a lot of people want it to die. Especially when Thrawn fractures. You want it to fracture. You don't want your tank to just die and then... Or, I mean, take a fracture and be out of the match forever. Night Sister Zombie is the way to work with that. Now, the second runner-up is L337. She is a new tank to the game for scoundrels and mostly for droids. That's the biggest, most exciting thing I'm liking about this tank here, and she heals droids and scoundrels. She cleanses scoundrels, which I wish she also cleansed droids. But one of the unique things about this tank is the first time each other droid ally is reduced to 1% health, they equalize health with L3. So then they will equalize and say it would be L3's turn to go, oh, I'm going to heal us. As long as she's prepared, she's going to heal everyone up 50%. That's big. That's big. She keeps increasing her max damage. She also has chances of counter chance, which once she's Mark 3, the Mark 3 enhanced to Mark 3, she will definitely be countering all the time that she's hit, as long as she doesn't have days, of course. And she stands out at the open at the beginning of the match too. That's always good for droids. So, but yeah, I will say, if she was in the droid meta would probably lasted a bit longer than what it was, thanks to her and one other droid on this tank list. And I'll get to that here in a second. Number 10, Chopper. Now, he's another unique character to this list, is because he is not a tank. He's a support. He is a support class. But he does taunt like he's a tank. And he's a really quick tank too. Starting off with 152, obviously you can give him about 100 to 130 or 100 to 150 speed depending on your mod configuration. You can get him really, really fast. And on top of that, if he's also paired with BB-8, he'll be even faster. A lot of times you do see Chopper on teams outside of Phoenix with, like, at least I've seen him with Jedi Training Rey, R2, BB-8, Chopper, and then one other character like Thrawn, General Kenobi, something of that nature. So, and he dispels, he stuns droids, and he taunts for a turn. Yes, his taunt could be improved. But outside of that, yeah, he's number 10 on the list. Number 9 is none other than Sith Trooper. Sith Trooper is only best in Sith teams. You only want to use him in a Sith team. He's the best there. Granted, at the time when we were getting the release of Sion and Traya and a lot of the other, and the Sith raid. I was hoping they would also bring out Sith Juggernaut to give us another tank there too, but they at least gave us Sion, and Sion is a great tank. But Sith Trooper, you pair him with any Sith, he's really great. Sith Trooper also, in his own unique, has 100% defense. That's big. That's big. But yeah, he's number 9. He's low on the list. Yes, he could always not be on this list, but he's lately been popping up in the arena and other areas of the game, like territory wars, dark side territory battles, and so on. So he's still a great tank, but only for the Sith. Same with number 8, except for bounty hunters, and that is none other than Bossk. Bossk is a bounty hunter tank, the first of his kind. I'm hoping that when they decide to do bounty hunters again with the Clone Wars era bounty hunters, they make Embo as a tank to pair with him. But outside of that, he's a great tank. He brings in a unique effect of a unique ability called Frenzy that was on Bistan. Bistan used to be the only character that had it, but it made sense for Bossk to get it. And also the fact that he makes it more useful too. He's a pretty quick tank for the most part, so he can taunt up pretty quickly and call in assists of bounty hunters. Yeah, he's a great tank for bounty hunters. Number 7 is ObiWan Ben Kenobi, old Ben. With his recent rework about a year ago, almost a year ago, it has been almost a year ago from this video. He's gotten a rework. First off, he got Devoted Protector, to where he taunts for 2 turns. When the taunt expires, he gains taunt again for 1 turn. This is a kind of a light counter to Fracture, because you can fracture old Ben, but he'll still pop back up and taunt again, so you can't properly fracture him. But really one of the best moves a lot of people like to do is use the Mind Tricks first to get a chance to remove turn meter and ability to block the whole team, the whole enemy team. But yeah, old Ben is great at this number. Now, number 6 is a pair of tanks. You got Finn and Poe Dameron. I feel like the developers of Star Wars need to give Finn a last name. He needs a last name, just like Rey. Rey needs a last name, Finn needs a last name. But Poe, out of that trio, Poe gets a last name. It's kind of weird. But anyways, Finn, I'm sure if they do give him a last name in Episode 9, they'll probably throw it in on this character. But anyways, Finn's Zeta is like one of the best. I will admit, I do not have Finn's Zeta right now, but from what I've seen and what all the game changers talk about, Finn is one of the best Zetas to have. Is one of the best ones, the first ones to actually Zeta, just because of the synergies with not ability, what's it called? Expose. Throwing the Expose around with his Resistance. Resistance is the best team to run Expose, outside of maybe under a Jyn lead, Jyn Erso. But for the most part, yeah, Finn is the best exposing team. Also outside of Jedi Trainer Rain now. But Finn, there you go. And obviously you always want Poe Dameron. He taunts. Yes, Finn doesn't taunt as much. I will admit, Finn doesn't taunt as much, which is why I pair these two together. Because Poe taunts, and if you have Poe maxed out, whenever Poe loses taunt, Finn taunts for a turn. So you have 2 tanks to taunt, and then you have your other combo of characters that you can play around with. Number 5 is Shore Trooper. Apologize, that was too down low. But Shore Trooper is a great Imperial tank. It's probably the best Imperial tanks to date. Yes, we do have Stormtrooper, and yes, we do have Royal Guard, but Shore Trooper's the best, then Stormtrooper. Royal Guard still needs a rework, especially to synergize with Palpatine, at least in my opinion. But Shore Trooper is one of the first tanks to ever heal, and I mean heal, your allies. Yes, it's only 24% health, but it's still better than no health. He's the first healing tank, and the first cleansing tank. We'll get to him up later in the list. But yeah, he's number 5. Number 4 is Baze Malbus. He's always best paired with Chirrut Imwe, but I have seen some teams in the arena in the past, at least especially on my shard, where they choose to sub out Cheered Imwe for someone else. But base Malbus is huge. Even though, yes, he does need a Zeta like Chirrut, and a couple, and Rex, and one other character that's on this list. But yeah, he is a tank that you don't want to mess with. You got to be careful with, especially running with Chirrut, because of the multiple taunts thrown around, the cleansing of Chirrut. He also dispels. That's big. He dispels on 2 abilities. Most characters only have like a 1 ability dispel, but this one, Baze, is really unique with being able to dispel too. And you do see him still on Commander Luke teams, Commander Luke Skywalker teams. He's really good under Commander Luke Skywalker. So yeah, that is Baze Malbus, and I think he's one of the beefiest. He's also one of the slowest tanks especially on this list. The slowest tank, 90, because I think L3 was 97, Sith Troopers 95, Boss 151, 118, 119, 117, Chopper's like 150 something. Night Sister Zombie was 120. So yeah, he's the slowest on this list. But yeah, other than that, he's really cool. He's a great tank, and I was glad to 7-star Gear 12 him, for sure. Now, number 3 on the list, Kylo Ren Unmasked. He is up here. Yes, I know some people would say Finn and Poe should be up a little higher because it's a combo duo, but the thing is Finn and Poe only work best together. The reason why I want to throw Kylo Ren up here is because he actually works on teams outside of just being the leader. Of course, he's best with a First Order team, or a First Order mixed with like Thrawn, or even him, First Order Stormtrooper, and then the Triumvirate. But he's still great, and he's also the first tank. Yeah, here, see, he's quicker than Baze, 132. But he's the first tank to have a 2-turn stun. Yes, there's been a couple of tanks in the past that stun, but Kylo Ren takes 2 turns, stuns an enemy for 2 turns. That's big. That is huge. So yeah, if you really want to get Kylo Ren unmasked, and he's easy to get, especially the shard he's on. You can also farm his ship with it, and that's huge. You don't really see that often, except maybe like with Shore Trooper and his ship. But yeah, that is number excuse me, that is number 3. Number 2 on this list is General Kenobi. He was number 1, but I debated about it. There's a better number 1. Number 2, the first cleansing tank of the game, at least I know of, that's actually a taunting tank, and that's General Kenobi. General Kenobi has been the best tank, I feel like, since once he actually started being seen in the game. Once people started using him, he was the best tank by far. Gives himself foresight. He taunts when someone's critically hit, especially if an AoE pops in. He grants the allies critical hit immunity, and he taunts. Again, he cleanses his allies, and then all allies that were not debuffed gains retribution. So he can actually cleanse and also grant up counter chance for all the team. He can also call everyone to assist that's buffed. That's big too. So yeah, General Kenobi's been the number 1 tank so far. I feel like until number 1 came around in February, and that is none other than Darth Sion. Darth Sion just outclasses him. Yes, there is one downside to Darth Sion. He's not a leader. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Even though yes, you could debate that he should have been a leader because in Knights of the Old Republic 2, he was leading a group of Sith assassins. But for the most part, he works great not needing a leadership. But yeah, he dispels buffs and the pain. Oh man, if you AoE and you have pain inflicted on yourself, unless you have tenacity up, you're going to be stuck behind Darth Sion. That's why the Nightmare team with Vader, or Palpatine, Vader, Sion, Nihilus, and Thrawn are really good, because Sion just inflicts that pain everywhere with his AoE, his basic. Yeah, it's just insane. And he he can recover protection. He's a tank that can recover protection. If the opponent has pain, he can, boom, gain that protection back. He hits hard, and then if someone does have pain, he hits those pained characters harder. And he can die and come back. He is essentially what I want to call the Sith zombie, or in a sense, the second zombie of this game. He can die and come back. Obviously, it's not as good. His death is not as good as Night Sister Zombie, where he can die, come back, until there's no more Sith. Oh, that'd be too powerful. Oh man, that would be meta breaking. But anyways, Held by Hatred gives him a chance to come back alive as a second time. Oh man, he's insane. He's insanely good. He is the best of the best tanks, I feel like. And also, because when Kylo Ren Unmasked came out, they were thinking Kylo Ren Unmasked would be the dark side General Kenobi. He was close. He was close. I feel like he's kind of akin more to the dark side base Malbus than General Kenobi was. But he still has a great kit. But when Sion came out, Sion is the essential dark side version of General Kenobi. And there are some teams that I do see running both, like I even run it, where it's Sion and General Kenobi together. So I have a Cleanse, I have a Dispel, and then whatever else is going on in the front three. So, but yeah, that is my top 10 tanks. You can agree or disagree with me in the comments below. Maybe I may have missed a tank or two. Again, like First Order Stormtrooper, I could have maybe made it as a list on here. And yes, again, I did like the idea of adding L3 as a new tank to give some people an opportunity to think about playing around with his kit, or her kit, her kit. She'd probably punch me if she was real. At least I wasn't offending droids, because I actually like using droids. Oh, and another side note, if you guys ever have seen Urzatron's videos where he does the Lobot versus the meta, definitely look that up. Lobot versus the meta, and you'll find Urzatron. He recently did a video with L3, and the team was Lobot, IG-88, BB-8, Imperial Probe Droid, and L3-37, and he actually beat a meta team. I honestly don't remember what meta team he beat, but he beat one of the meta teams, and that's big. If you can beat a meta team with a droid team, droids might actually be coming back. Yes, that's the exciting thing. Droids are slowly getting better over time, just because of the fact every new movie comes out, there's always a new droid. Of course, I'm still waiting for BB-9E from the First Order in Episode 8, but we'll see what happens. But again, sorry about the long ramble here at the end, but again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate all those who have been watching the videos. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and you guys have a wonderful day.